three laws of motion. So the first law of motion is that objects in motion are going to stay in motion, or objects at rest are going to stay in rest, unless an outside force acts upon them. Now, the reason why this is difficult for us to see and explain is because we're never without an unbalanced force. So if you think about your bicycle rolling down, like when you stop pedaling it, it's going to continue to move until friction makes it stop. So because we live in a world with friction and air resistance, we're always going to have an unbalanced force. So this is kind of difficult for us to explain, but this is exactly true. This is also known as the law of inertia, and inertia is the tendency of objects to resist a change in motion. The more massive the object, the more inertia it has. So it's a lot harder to push an elephant than it is to push a mouse, because an elephant has a lot more mass than the mouse. The inertia is also why we have seatbelts. So I want to show you guys this brief video.
States that objects will maintain their state of motion unless acted on by an outside force. This means that moving objects will stay moving and still objects will stay still, unless you push or pull on them. There are two safety devices in your car to protect you from the effects of inertia. The first is your seat belt. When the front end of your car rams another object, your car will suddenly stop or slow down. Because of inertia, your body will want to stay moving at whatever speed it was moving before the accident. If you're not wearing a seatbelt, this means you will hit a windshield. The seatbelt provides a force to stop your body's forward motion. The second safety device in your car is a headrest. When your car is hit from behind, the car is suddenly pushed forward. Your head will want to stay still, but your body will be pushed forward by the seat. This causes your head to feel like it is snapping back. Your head is actually staying still because of inertia, while the rest of your body is being pushed. Your headrest pushes your head forward with your body so that you don't suffer from whiplash. Look at the difference between a headrest that is properly set versus one that is set too low to push your still head forward.
Newton's second law of motion is going to be a relationship between acceleration, mass, and net force. So this is given to us by an equation where force equals mass times acceleration. The shorthand way to say that is F equals ma. So m stands for mass, and the units have to be in kilograms. Acceleration is in meters per second squared, and the force has to be measured in newtons. So let's look at a quick. So let's put a really massive object on here. Okay. And here we can see that the object is 200 kilograms, and we're going to apply a force, and it's going to reach some type of speed. Now, because this is without friction, it's going to continue at that speed unless it's acted on by an outside force. Now let's try to apply a much greater force and see how the speed changes. You do actually see an increase in speed when you apply a greater force. Now let's try to decrease the mass. Let's put something that's not as massive on here, and let's apply the same large force. You can see that the girl's acceleration was much quicker than the refrigerator because her mass was much, much less. And that brings us to Newton's third law of motion. This is known as action-reaction pairs. So for every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction. So what I would like for you guys to do right now is wherever you're sitting, put your hand on a table. And I want you guys to push on that table. Not hard enough to make it move, but hard enough to feel the force. So what you feel is you are actually physically pushing on the table, but you can also feel the table pushing back on you. So those forces are equal in size, but they're in opposite directions. They're also acting on different objects. So because they're acting on different objects, they don't actually cancel. So as you walk, your feet are applying a force to the ground, and the ground is applying a force to your feet. Equal in size, but in the opposite direction. Thank you.